Hello and welcome to another episode of Crankcase. Today we have a very meaty, powerful episode at hand because as petrol heads have been dancing around, or maybe in Shreyas's case, venting their anger out for the past couple of days, we have a new Ferrari. So we are here today to talk about the new car, which is...
It's the Ferrari 296 GTB.
Yes.
And what Ferrari are trying to do with this is to prove that smaller is better. So they've come down from their V12 monsters into a... Oh my god. It's a plug-in hybrid, 6-cylinder.
We are in a world where we will actually see a Ferrari plugged into the wall. Like a laptop.
Yeah, from where it gets electricity, which charges its electric motor, the batteries that power the electric motor.
Yeah.
So back in the days, I think the first Ferrari which had some bits of electric technology in it was probably the LaFerrari with the curse system that's there in the F1 cars. And that was something which was new to all the petrol heads out there, but still was something which we went along with. And then came the SF90, which was a V8, which is a plug-in hybrid as well. But now we have this, the 296 GTB, which is a plug-in hybrid with a V6.
Yeah, see, I can accept to an extent with what Ferrari did with the LaFerrari and the SF90, because Ferrari has always been about, their V12s and their V8s and that twin turbo setup or the naturally aspirated V12 setup. It's V6 for Ferrari has always, for the past few years, it's just been in their Formula One racing. That's it. But other than that, you don't associate a Ferrari with a V6.
Right. So that brings us to the discussion at hand, which is this the end of the world for petrol heads? So we today on this panel have a very, very, very proper spectrum where Shreyas thinks this is the end of the world, we are all doomed. Milind thinks this is fine, it's okay. I think it is good. Okay, not the electric power, that's not something that I love about this, but I think this car on the whole is a good car. I don't think supercars or especially Ferraris should have any space for a battery inside them. But at the same time, it's sad that it's a plug-in, but it is fine. It is still a very, very well engineered piece of tech. It's a very good engine. It sounds good. And we will come to the sound part later. And I don't think it's a very bad car. I mean,
telling you, the world is coming to an end. We're all doomed.
Okay, before he changes my opinion, let's quickly move on to the engine specs of this car, which is where the news starts getting very, very good.
The 296, so the name is derived from the 29 is the 2.9 liters of displacement, and the 6 stands for obviously the number of cylinders, which is supposed to be 12, but whatever. So 3 liter V6, which is angled at a 120 degree bank, and it has 2 turbochargers. And it's like the turbochargers are in the middle of the bank, so like the bank is like there and the turbos are there. This is very vulgar hand gestures, but still try staying.
It's a well packaged engine. Move on.
So the V6 petrol engine is coupled to an electric motor. The V6 by itself puts out 663 horsepower, and the electric motor puts out around 122 kilowatts of power, for which together puts out 830 horsepower. So the engine is made to obviously an 8-speed DCT transmission, which is then the power is put to the rear wheels through a electronic differential at the back. And their battery tech is obviously derived from the Formula One racing that Ferrari has been doing. This engine holds the record for the highest specific output per displacement. So this puts out 221 horsepower per liter. That's the highest specific output that a production car has ever put out.
I was going to come to that because this, as I said, this is one of the reasons why I like this car. Okay. Because first of all, it is engineered very well. It's not just a big engine making too much horsepower. It is a V6, but it has the highest specific output, as you said. So it develops around 663 horsepower, right? 221 per liter. It's about a 3-liter engine.
221 per liter.
Yeah, it develops around 663 horsepower from a 3-liter, which is great. I mean, we have 3-liter road cars and they develop nowhere near 600 horsepower, right? So the way they have done this is, as Shreyas said, they've put the turbos in between the bank of the cylinders, which it effectively, what it does is it reduces the thank you for the visual representation. We don't have budget for animation, guys. This is the best we get. So it basically reduces the distance that the air has to travel from the inlet to the exhaust. So it is a more efficiently packed engine, which is what we see a lot in Formula 1, right? Formula 1 is all about packaging the engine, making it as light, making it as small as possible, and that's what they've done with this. They have used better alloys to make the engine lighter. They've used a completely different design for the rods and the pistons. So all in all, it's a very well engineered machine. It's not just it has more than the curve. The V12 LaFerrari had a curve system, which is basically kinetic energy recovery. So when you brake, it charges the battery. This is more sophisticated than that. It develops around 860 horsepower.
830.
830 horsepower.
Yeah, just to draw some contrast, the Dodge Charger is a 3.6 liter V6 and it makes hardly 300 brake horsepower, 350 max.
We have a lot of cars on sale right now in India which have 3-liter engines, and they develop nowhere close to 663 horsepower. Man. You were talking about the engine sound, right? Something you wanted to say.
Yeah. Interesting. It's very interesting. So, you might think that the V6 might not have sound as good as the V8 or the V12. Pretty sure it would not, but I've not heard the car yet. So, to actually back that, Ferrari has actually, given in their press release, and I'm quoting Ferrari in their press release. Sound-wise, the 296 GTB rewrites the rulebook by harmoniously combining two characteristics that are normally diametrically opposed. The force of the turbos and the harmony of the high frequency notes of a naturally aspirated V12. And I mean V12 because that's what Ferrari has actually put. So what they're saying by themselves is that it sounds as good as a V12, but it's not a V12. That's what Ferrari is saying.
So petrol heads at least know for a fact that Ferrari tunes their engine to sound better, right? Not just perform and develop more horsepower. They actually tune it to sound better, and we have seen that. Just go search for the sound of the LaFerrari and you will know what I'm talking about. It sounds like a synthesized keyboard more than an engine, and it's just that way. I mean, the V12 sounded magnificent, and it's not just Ferrari V12s. I mean, even Lamborghini V12s sound heavenly, right? Their engine sounds, I hate using the phrase engine noise for these cars because it's not noise.
Yeah, it's not noise.
Yeah, and as Ferrari are themselves saying, this is sort of being made to sound like a V12, which is not the best thing, but it is not the worst thing either. Which is, I think, the summary of this whole car. It's not the best, but it is not as bad as things could have gotten. Right? Which is fair enough.
Well, let's hope that it sounds close to a V12 because we know how V12 cars sounded during the old F1 era and now how the V6s sound. So let's hope it's nowhere close to that kind of a transition, and let's actually hope it sounds as good as the V12 does.
It does actually. If I'm being honest, I did go to the Ferrari website. There is a place where you can play the audio and hear the engine sound for yourself, and it is very good.
Let's finish all the mechanics of the car. Let's come to how it actually looks.
Yes.
Okay, so my perspective on the design is it's not a mean looking Ferrari. It's not aggressive. It's very subtle, and they could have worked a little more on the design to make it look a little better, but over the last few models, Ferrari's been changing their design template.
Yeah.
Compared to how the
Quite a
458
bit,
was, and
yes.
compared to how the cars are coming out right now,
Yes.
their design template has changed.
If you see the Ferrari lineage, as you said, if you see the 360, you see the 430, you see the 458, you see the 488, the 488 Pista, they all look like a successor of the previous one because you can see that lineage going through. And I still maintain that the last beautiful car that Ferrari had made was the 458. All of their cars after that have been striking. Yes, they have been great to look at, but none of them has been as beautiful as the 458. Right?
Yeah, everyone's just quoting Jeremy Clarkson now.
No, it's not just quoting Clarkson, which is not a bad thing. How is quoting Clarkson a bad thing?
No, of course,
right?
It's not.
Exactly. So, but I genuinely think that, man. I mean, it's a very good looking car, but it is not the best that Ferrari could have done.
I mean, a lot of brands have, their decision in changing their design template, it's gone wrong for quite a few brands, and not to mention those brands, but evidently that's been seen.
Right. So I guess that's all we had to say. I mean, it's a good design. It's not the best. And as I said, summarizing this car in one sentence would be not as good as it could have been, but it still could have been worse. I know I'm still sounding like Top Gear, but that was not the intention. Now, this is a very weird choice for us concluding this car like that, because Ferrari has always been something that, extracts a very strong opinion from all petrol heads. But this time it hasn't. They do talk about their F1 heritage and why they've decided to use a V6, but it's fine. I mean, I don't really see that as a problem. Yeah.
Actually, there have been a couple of Ferraris that have won the Formula One World Championship with a turbo V6. Not now, of course, not now. Of course, this was during the late 60s and the 70s. But
oh yeah. Right now they are. No. Let's not get started on that.
No.
If we get started on how Ferrari has been performing in the past season and this season, it is.
I'll cry. I'll start crying.
Yeah, we probably all will. See you in the next video. If you have stayed this long, if you like the video, if you are a Ferrari fan, or if you simply like this car and how it looks, do hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel.
Wait, bro. I'm sorry. We didn't talk about the competition pack.
Yo, Assetto Fiorano.
Yeah. Who wants to talk about
Talk about the Assetto. You want to talk about it. You stopped us. We were going.
Yeah. No. I didn't read that much about. Okay, yeah, wait. Actually, I have. It's just 1 or 2 sentences, bro. What's it called again?
Assetto Fiorano.
One thing we forgot to tell you guys was that alongside the 296 GTB, the standard package that Ferrari is going to be launching, they're also going to be launching a more lighter version, a track focused. It's called the Assetto Fiorano, and it looks like this. Yeah, it's grey and yellow in color. It's lighter than the standard 296 GTB, and it has more downforce generating appendages on the front and on the rear wing, and it's designed to be more aerodynamically efficient, which generates more downforce and all that sort of. It actually gets a different set of shock absorbers if you really wanted to know. So yeah, it's a track focused.
The like, share, subscribe is remaining, bro. Wait.
Okay. Yeah, what? Like, share, subscribe, man. If they want, they'll do. That's all.
I think we have our ending. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.